to the channel that knows nothing. I'm Jam, and let's get to it. Today we are diving on into the coffee book tag, because we love coffee. We cannot function without it on this channel, so let's go. Question number 1 in this tag is black coffee, and that is name a series that was hard to get into but has hardcore fans, and I decided to go with Hellbent and the Ninth House, or Ninth House and Hellbent, because that's the right order. And I don't think it has like hardcore fans, but it's definitely one of those like series or duologies that's a little bit harder to get into compared to her other work. I think like I didn't not like it. I thought it was really like interesting, and it's definitely, you know, captures your attention like her other work does, like the Grishaverse, but it's just different, and you're in a completely new world with like new characters and people, and it's like really fun, and I liked it. It did take me like a hot minute to get into, because I was just like, I don't know if I care about anyone, but by like the end of the book I had come to care for the main character a lot, and for her like sort of mentor. I kind of see him as a love interest as well, because I would love to see where that would go. I definitely think there is another one in the works. There has to be another one. The second question in this tag is peppermint mocha coffee, and that is name a book that gets more popular as it comes into the winter season. And I feel like I have to go with A Game of Thrones on this one, because how could it not? Winter is coming, guys. The next question in this tag is hot chocolate, and that is name your favorite picture book, and I feel like I gotta go with Frog Finds a Place is up there. Those are more recent ones. Like if you go for more nostalgic value, it's definitely like Once There Were Giants. Question number 4 in this tag is double shot of espresso, and that is name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And I gotta go with Where the Crawdads Sing. I really liked it. It was like a very emotional read, and I liked it, but I also was a little bit disappointed with the sort of end of it as well. I feel like I wanted more like there, because like everything is explained through a poem, and I feel like I needed more to how like all this stuff happened, because obviously if we go into the plot of the story, it is about a murder that happened, but it jumps around this girl's life from like when she was young to when she's like kind of like high school age, and then to when she's like a bit older and an adult, and she has kind of been like through all this abuse in her family at a young age, and then everybody kind of thinks she's the dumbest thing ever, but she's actually like really intelligent when it comes to the marsh. And I really loved learning about her life, and kind of like the things she went through was just awful and horrible. And like, you know, she's the murderer. I'm sorry, spoiler. But I feel like when we're in the courtroom learning all the stuff about her, it's like really interesting. It's just like, did she do it? And I'm like, I think she did do it. Like, who else could possibly have done this? But there's just like, kind of we have to draw straws at what actually happened. Like I feel like you learn a little bit throughout the poem, but I feel like you don't get a hell of a lot from it, and it was kind of disappointing to me. I liked it and didn't. It's kind of like, oh, it kept me like kind of guessing until the very end, until you were kind of just told. But I'm also like, I wish we had a chapter on what happened and not a poem. Number 5 in this tag is Starbucks, and that is name a book that you see everywhere, and I've seen like the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo everywhere. And also if they don't make that into a movie, I will be a little bit disappointed. Like they have to, or like a series. That would be so interesting. I love the book. Weird though, because as soon as I read it, I stopped seeing it places, and it's just like, does my phone know things that I don't? Next question in this tag is hipster coffee shop, and that is name a book by an indie author and give them a shout out. I'm not sure if they're an indie author, but it definitely feels that way. I feel like people don't know enough about this book, and I'm going to shout it out anyway. It is Barefoot Dancing. It is hella good. It's so great. I feel like it depicts like the high school life perfectly, because like I feel like in high school people think it's like just a shit day every single day, and that's just not accurate. I think it's just the drama, like the drama in the books. And I feel like this one got it like kind of perfect. And also, gay girls. Yes, yes, yes. We love to see it. Number 7 in this tag is Oops, I Got Decaf, and that was name a book that you expected more from, and I think I expected more from Wings of Fire. Now, it's not directed towards my age group. I know that. It's a middle grade book, but still, it is overhyped, I think. I don't know why. And like, I did read the graphic novel, so maybe the actual novel is different. And I really liked the sort of premise of it. I'm like, ooh, this is really interesting. Like, you know, ooh, what's gonna happen? And I think I was let down because it is directed to a younger audience. And I think if it was kind of like a young adult book, it would have been a lot better than what it is. And it's like, it's a delightful story, don't get me wrong. I just like, every time I went to the bookstore and like the middle grade and young adult section is kind of near each other, always the staff there would recommend it to mums that just like, I don't know what to give my, you know, son/daughter to read. I don't know what to give them to read. They would always recommend that one without a doubt, like without even blinking, it was always that one. It's just like, really? It's just like, you want to make them read that one when Percy Jackson and Harry Potter exist. And also, I remember recommending Percy Jackson to someone, they're just like, oh, no, I didn't really like it. It's just like, it's basically Harry Potter, but set in a so much more interesting world. Like, you got gods and demigods and like all these monsters, and like, I feel like Harry, he fights, you know, like 2 big actually 3 if you want to count the dragon, like giant spider, basilisk, dragon, like, you know, he fights all that, and like all these other things within like the maze in the 4th one. But I feel like Percy is like constantly fighting monsters. Like, if you pitch them together, like in a battle, and if you ask me who was gonna win, even with magic on Harry's side, I feel like Percy would still win. If it was like a battle, like, not that it would happen, but a battle to the death, I think Percy is smarter, even if he has a seaweed brain. The next question in this tag is green tea, and that is name a book that is quietly beautiful. And I've got to go with The Silence of the Girls on this one. I think I have like kind of talked about it a couple times on the channel, but probably not enough to kind of be like, get it in you, it's so good, especially the sort of Audible version of it. And I keep talking about Audible, but I have it now and I'm just obsessed with it. The voice actress in it is amazing, amazing. I love it. She's just got a very like, you know, quiet and demanding voice, and like like I felt like I really believed that was the character. The first one is so good. The second one, not as good as the first one, but still worth the read. Next one in this tag is chai tea, and that is name a book that makes you dream of far off places, and I've got to go with Narnia. If I had to go to a land, it would have to be Narnia. Like, oh, just love it so much. And I love the movies too. I wish there was more of them. It's just, it's so good. And also, like, I would love to be Queen of Narnia. Like, you can't deny that would be cool. You just can't deny it. And the last question in this tag is Earl Grey, and that is name your favorite classic, and I've gone with a bit of a controversial answer. I have picked Frankenstein. Now, I have beaten that thing to death on this channel, being like, oh, it's terrible, I hate it. But I think, actually, I love it. I think there is a thin line between love and hate, and that line is the width of Frankenstein. I think I like morally grey things, like where it's just like, oh, I can't tell who is in the right and who is in the wrong. Like, I think I actually like that. It took me a while to work it out. I'm not sure how I've come about this idea, but I do like the idea of like just things like being like so messed up and being like, I don't know who to side with because they're both in the wrong. But also maybe the monster's a little bit in the right, but also then he's like kind of a creeper. And then it's like, maybe the doctor's right. It's like, well, no, he's not great. He made something and then ran away from it. So like, you know, And it's just, yeah, even up until the end, I don't know who I actually side with. Like, they both do terrible things to each other. And it's just like, oof, I love and hate this. Why? Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, because that is always nice. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.